Clear path to transformational growth. That's our tagline. We're going from one producing asset to three in the next 5 years. So we want to go from a junior producer and explorer to an intermediate producer. This is to warn you, I'm going to make some forward-looking statements. And so here we are. So Avino is a Canadian company, but the mine, the main asset is the Avino mine in the state of Durango. It's in the heart of Mexico. It's on the Sierra Madre Silver Belt. Mining is ingrained in their DNA. They've been mining there for hundreds of years. Avino was actually discovered in 1558 by Captain Ibarra of Cortez's army. So they claim to have found a mountain of silver. We're still mining it hundreds of years later, and there's still plenty of ore left. And so we're grateful we have 100% Mexican labor force, right up to our chief operating officer, who's a graduate of Colorado School of Mines. So we've got a really good team down there. So here's our project portfolio made up of the producing Avino mine. We're going to produce about 2.5 to 2.8 million ounces of silver equivalent this year. We recently announced that we got the permits in Mexico, so business is open as usual in Mexico on La Preciosa, and we've started developing that asset, and that's going to contribute by Q4 this year, but it's going to have a meaningful contribution next year. It could grow our production by 50%. And then we've got the oxide tailings project. This is from when we opened pit mine in the 70s and 80s. All our profits are sitting in the waste pile. So we transitioned to dry stack tailings and decommissioned this, and now we're planning to move this project forward. We've got a huge untapped resource of silver, 371 million ounces of silver equivalent, 43-101 compliant, which is the highest level of confidence in the world. 60% of that is pure silver. These are the catalysts from one producing asset to three. Here's our production profile for the next 5 years. You can see here in the dark blue, that's from Avino, and then the lighter blue, the contribution will be from La Preciosa, and then in year 2028 up here, you'll see the oxide tailings. We want to get up between 8 and 10 million ounces a year. That the market generally values those companies north of $1 billion US. Here's our production by metal. So this year, 49% of our revenue will be generated from silver. Not too many producers in the world can say that. So we are a primary silver producer. 19% of that will be made up of gold and 31% copper. But you can see it's going to trend higher in silver as we bring on La Preciosa and the oxide tailings. So recent milestones. Announced the permitting and starting developing on La Preciosa. That's the big thing. We put a pre-feasibility study out on the oxide tailings, which gave us 6.7 million tons of proven and probable reserves, the highest level of confidence, and ESR awards. So for being a socially responsible company, we've got this award 3 years in a row now. Here's La Preciosa. It's 19 kilometers away from Avino. It's in the high desert, rolling farmland, very safe jurisdiction. You're not in a remote area. And because the mine's been around for a long time, there's infrastructure all around us. There's 25,000 people that live within a 20 to 30 kilometer radius. So this is unique for mining because normally you have to bring people in. We don't have to. They can sleep in their own beds at night. So it keeps the costs down. Dedicated power line capable of 5 megawatts. We're only utilizing 3. So we got excess capacity for when we build the oxide tailings project. High water supply because we're recycling it through dry stack. So here's La Preciosa, 1,500 drill holes, geologically de-risked, and so it looks like close to $80 to $90 million has been spent by Pan American Silver, Coeur Mining, and Orco, And incidentally, Mr. Whiting is here, who made the discovery on the Martha vein. So if anyone wants to ask him how good it is, you can. It's all in the red. So the red represents between 150 and 500 grams of silver per ton. And there's a lot of kilogram hits within there. As you can see in here, the red's hot zones are above 500 grams. There's 17.4 million metric tons of measured and indicated, or 113 million ounces of silver equivalent and then inferred another 4.4 million, or 24 million ounces of silver equivalent. So decades of mine life. What we're doing now is we're putting in this decline here, and both the Gloria and Abundancia veins come right to the surface, so that's the beauty of this. We're putting in 5 meter by 5 meter haulage ramp, trackless, so rubber tire trucks can go in there and we can long hole mine it, so it's a cheap form of mining. Here's the equipment that's arrived at La Preciosa, brand new equipment, scoop trams, jumbos, the latest equipment, and Caterpillar supplied a simulator, so we're training the people in the local area. Here's our global resources, so 53.1 million metric tons of measured and indicated, or 277 million ounces of silver equivalent, and then another 23.8 million metric tons of inferred. So we process between 700 and 750,000 tons on an annual basis. This represents 100 years of mine life. And so our cash flow is growing. Q3, I'm going to have to go through this quickly, but Q3, we had revenue of 14.6. But what I want to draw your attention to, is the cash on hand at the end of the quarter was 7.8 million. The cash on hand at the end of the year was 26 million. So we're generating huge cash flow in Q4. And our Q4 results are coming out in 11 days. And so here's what we're proud of. Our all-in sustaining, our cash cost per ounce, $15.35. All-in sustaining, $21.61. Q4 is going to drive these numbers down even further. Cost per ton, $55.68. $78 all-in sustaining per ton. It's unheard of for underground mine to be mining below $100 a ton. So we're crushing it literally underground, and we're really proud of it. So here you can see production, 700 to 750,000 tons on an annual basis. So like I said, 75 million metric tons represents 100 years of mine life. Cash flow positive, 26 million in the bank. And what we're spending this year is on our capital growth is between 13 and 18 million US, sustaining capital, growth capital, and exploration. Chen, I have to apologize, your name should be on here. It will be on the next presentation. These are all the research analysts following us. And so our market cap is 282 million Canadian, 200 million US. Recently trading around $2 Canadian. We're down, actually, we corrected the last few days. We're around $1.70, so a good time to enter. We've got a liquid market. We trade between 1.5 million and 2.5 million shares a day on the New York Stock Exchange. I'm currently the largest shareholder of the company, so I put my money where my mouth is. We have 141 million shares outstanding and 152 million fully diluted, no warrants. So to wrap things up, we're a primary silver producer and explorer. A lot of leverage to the metal price, 371 million ounces of silver equivalent, proven and probable reserves, strengthening balance sheet, debt-free. So the stars are aligned for Avino to meet our growth profile for over the next 5 years. And I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much.